For me, England-Ireland, if everything goes according to plan, by then, the last game at Twickenham, if they've both won every game before this, will be the decider for a Grand Slam as well, which would be amazing.
I'll say the Calcutta Cup. Scotland have been promising for so long. They're looking white hot in terms of the way they played in the autumn, the way that Glasgow played just a week ago against Exeter with Stuart Hogg back. That could be one hell of a game.
Scotland went down to Twickenham with a fair bit of hope and expectation last year, got absolutely obliterated at home at Murrayfield. A better Scotland team is this when they really make that step up and don't just become mid-table competitive Six Nations force, but actually a side that can win the whole thing.
Especially if both sides have won the opening two, and especially also because we've got a fallow week before it. It's going to be built up. We're going to get stories of 1990 all over again, single Piper on the roof and all that stuff.
You just looking at those fixtures, you're looking at Ireland against England in Twickenham on the very last day. We've seen a few verbals kind of been thrown by Joe Schmidt and Eddie Jones today at the launch, so definitely going to be a lot of headlines, a lot of hype going into that fixture.
That could well be a Grand Slam decider, just as it was 12 months ago. They're the two best teams, most consistent teams in the Championship. And I think in that last week we could easily be looking at another Grand Slam showdown, this time at Twickenham.
Wales-Scotland, opening weekend, it's always bonkers, it's always mad. You can imagine, well, it'd be a cauldron anyway. Always a good game. Scotland are going to give it everything. Wales, they can't afford to lose that game. Whatever happens, there'll be headlines out of the back of it.
We've seen Scotland can do it and do it really well. However, we've also seen when it's backfired. The England game last year really exposed them, and they won't want to have that experience again. So I feel like they might shore it up a little bit while keeping that attacking threat, knowing when to attack at the right point. On the other hand, you look at Wales, they're trying to play with a 10-12 playmaker, and given the problems they've got, I reckon they could do that again, certainly through the games which are going to be a bit looser. Scotland would definitely be one of those, and potentially Italy as well. So I reckon there could be a lot of points on the board in that game, and it's one that I'm definitely looking forward to.
I think there'll be a lot of hype over England-Ireland come the end, but before we get to that, I think England-Scotland will be huge up in Murrayfield. The Scots absolutely going for it. We'll see what sort of form they're in after that game against Wales opening the tournament. By the time we build up to that Calcutta Cup game, there could be even more riding on it, and I think the hype around that, bearing in mind where it'll then take the rest of the Championship, will mean that all the focus is on that one.
Defining moments. Everyone's pointing to that last game, England v Ireland. It's set up nicely if things go to plan. But I think England going to Murrayfield as well is the tasty one that I look forward a little bit closer. I think that's going to be pivotal in how this competition plays out.
You got to look at Eddie Jones, I think, on this, and Ireland against England on the final weekend, Paddy's weekend. I expect a lot of sniping there. I think Eddie Jones, as Joe has said today, doesn't mind lobbing a grenade in there just to maybe unsettle things. I'm not sure Schmidt really likes that approach, but I think we're going to see plenty of pre-match chat there, especially with it being a huge game.
Wales-Ireland's always really fascinating. There's always a little bit of needle, especially after things middle weekend. So Sean O'Brien could be back to face Warren Gatland, which would be box office potentially. So yeah, I think a little bit of tetchiness will be compelling.
The Scots are dangerous, and that's another good reason they're playing brilliant rugby. I love the way Glasgow go about their business. Look at the way they demolished Exeter last weekend, and that sense of adventure with Finn Russell, Stuart Hogg, Tommy Seymour, the sort of rugby that they play under Gregor Townsend, really exciting. And I think that style can rattle England. I think it's going to be an absolute screamer.